And Dow index futures in the U.S. were slightly higher after stronger than anticipated jobs data and a dovish turn from the Federal Reserve helped to alleviate concerns of a possible economic slowdown. At around 4 a.m. Eastern Time, Dow Jones Industrial Average Futures rose 43 points, indicating a positive open of more than 31 points. Futures on the S&P and Nasdaq were pointed to negative start. Market sentiment is largely attuned to talks between Chinese officials and their U.S. counterparts early this week. The moves in pre-market trade come after risk appetite received a significant boost on Friday when U.S. payrolls showed 312,000 jobs were created in December. Economists surveyed by Dow Jones had been expecting job growth of just 176,000. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell also sought to ease market concerns of slowing growth in the world's largest economy on Friday, saying the U.S. Central Bank would be patient and flexible with monetary policy decisions this year. On the data front, ISM non-manufacturing figures for December are expected to be released at around 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And away from the equities market, the International Monetary Fund has warned that a serious global economic slowdown is on the horizon and world's largest countries are unprepared for the consequences. According to David Lipton, the first Deputy Managing Director of the IMF, it will be difficult for governments to use fiscal or monetary measures to offset the next recession. Mr. Lipton spoke on the sidelines of the American Economic Association annual meeting in Atlanta, the United States of America. In its most recent forecast in October, the IMF projected 3.7% growth in the global economy this year. The body is, however, set to release updated forecasts later this month. Mr. Lipton admitted that the growth outlook is being undermined by trade tensions, policy flows, and weakness in Asia. And JP Morgan has refuted the Libyan Investment Authority's central allegation in a London lawsuit that funds were used to bribe and intimidate officials who awarded the 2007 bond deal. The bank acknowledges that Bear Stearns made millions of dollars of payments to a friend of the son of Libyan dictator Muammar al-Gaddafi around the time it raised $200 million for the country's wealth fund. However, it insists that the payments were to help set up introductions with the North African Fund. JP Morgan bought Bear Stearns at the height of the financial crisis in 2008. The Libyan Investment Authority alleges that Bear Stearns sent $6 million to a businessman, Walid Al-Ghami, who is a close associate of the Gaddafi regime, to arrange deals in a contract that was no more than a sham agreement. While JP Morgan confirms that its unit made 4 payments to accounts at Ghami's firm, it says it had no suspicions that the funds would be used for anything other than fulfilling his broker's services. And Zambia's Konkola copper mines, majority owned by Vedanta Resources, has suspended operations at its Nchanga mine following the introduction of an import duty on copper concentrates. The country, which is Africa's second highest copper producer, introduced new mining duties, increased royalties, and plans to replace value-added tax with a sales tax by April to help bring down mounting debt. The company explains operations at the smelter were downsized due to low availability of concentrates after the government's introduction of an import duty on concentrates. Last month, the Chamber of Mines said that mining companies may lay off over 21,000 workers due to reduced capital expenditure over the next 3 years due to the changes. And Democratic Republic of Congo has reduced its estimate of cobalt production for the first 9 months of 2018 to 81,292 tons from an earlier estimate of 115,116 tons. Data from the central bank shows that output of cobalt rose 35.9% compared to the same period in 2017 rather than 92.5% earlier predicted. The bank has also increased its estimate for copper output in the first 9 months of 2018 to 911,505 tons from a previous estimate of 908,695 tons. Congo is the world's leading miner of cobalt and Africa's top copper producer. And Egypt plans to implement an automatic price indexation mechanism on 95-octane gasoline starting in April, which will limit price changes to 10%. Egypt is pushing ahead with tough economic reforms as part of a 3-year, $12 billion IMF loan deal signed in 2016. The reforms aimed at attracting investors who fled during the 2011 uprising have included new taxes, deep cuts to energy subsidies, and a currency devaluation, putting the budgets of tens of millions of Egyptians under strain. In June, Egypt raised gasoline prices by up to 50% under the IMF program. And after the break, when we come back, we make a crossover to the Nigerian Stock Exchange for an update on today's trading activities. To stay with us.